Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie. This is the encouraging word for today. There are times in life where we must choose. Choose between two roads that are marked out ahead of us. It's like we're at, as they say, a fork in the road. You choose one, it leads you in that direction. You choose this way, it leads you in that direction. And the ways diverge further and further away. You cannot travel on both. You can't follow God, Jesus said, and you can't follow money. Each one will take you in a separate direction. There are many things like that. You can't please people and you can't please God. You can't take both roads at the same time. The Bible is full of examples, and the life itself is full of examples. You can choose to forgive, or you can choose not to forgive, and each road will take you in a different direction. So there are times in life we must choose. And our true character, what is inside of us, what we are made of, whether we're a person of integrity or not, is often revealed in those times of choice. Those times of choice. What we choose defines who we are. Now, many times people look good, but when pressure comes, when the road gets hard, when it starts going uphill, up a mountain sometimes, when the storms of life comes, then we see what is really inside that person. Now, Paul worked with a team of people. And whenever you work with a team of people, you're vulnerable to being hurt by those people, because naturally you develop friendships, connections, you love people, you're together. Same thing happens in a family. Same thing could happen on your job. If you have a team on your job, happens in churches, in any arena where we are working or living or interacting with other people. Relationships develop, and we're on the same team, so to speak, working for the same goal. And we have that sense of we are one, working together. It's why divorce is such a deadly and devastating thing. It's why betrayal is so painful. It like rips something out of our heart. So we have choices. And in Colossians 4:14, Paul is talking about his team. He's always mentioning his team. Names are different at times, but he always worked with teams. Colossians 4:14, Paul mentions who is with him in Rome. This is towards the end, as he's moving towards the end of his life in Colossians. And he says, our dear friend Luke the doctor and Demas send greetings. So Luke is with him, has been with him through most of the last part of the book of Acts. And this gentleman named Demas is with him. And they're apparently together. They send greetings. They know Paul's writing the letter. Maybe they even helped him or talked about it while he was writing it out. And they send their greetings. They say hello to the folks there in Colossae. And Demas is one of Paul's teams. But then things go from bad to worse. Paul is in jail. Now things are getting more serious. He's gotten a death sentence. He's going to be executed by decapitation, by having his head cut off. He's been persecuted. And, when we're in the most difficult times of our life, that's when we need our friends around us. Just the presence of people during a difficult season of life can make all the difference in the world. We get encouragement, we get somebody to talk to, we get strengthened. It's the power of presence, as they say. So Paul is writing this letter to Timothy, and it's the most emotional letter, 2 Timothy, the most emotional letter that Paul has written. You can compare it to the others. It's on a totally different level. It's very personal. He's telling his feelings. And then he gets to this point in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 9 and 10. He says this, "Do your best to come to me quickly, for Demas, because he loved this world, has deserted me." Has deserted me. How sad. In the moment of your deepest need, someone deserts you. Betrayal in the moment of need. Have you felt that pain? Someone you relied on, someone who you thought was right next to you, walking with you, in this for good with you. Suddenly they leave. They desert you. That sounds like not even saying goodbye, but just disappearing. The tough gets tough, and they get going. So he says, do your best to come to me. He's pleading. He needs a friend with him. But Demas has deserted him. Not left to go away to come back, but deserted him. That has a final note to it. Deserted him. It's a complete betrayal, a complete abandonment. And you see, when Demas was at that point, am I going to stay with Paul through this difficult time? Or if things are not easy now, things are getting hard, the outlook doesn't look good, what am I going to do? His true character comes to the surface and he runs. Why did he run? It says because he loved this world. Loved this world. That means maybe the money, maybe the easy life, or relatively easy. He wasn't willing to face death for Christ. If facing death for Christ was part of the deal, he wanted nothing to do with it. Paul knew he was going to die. He said in a few verses earlier, his time for his departure has come. And he was willing to die for Christ. Demas loved the world, the present life, more than he loved Christ and the life to come. And so he deserted Paul. He said, this isn't what I've signed up for. I'm out of here. And he deserted Paul. Terrible. Paul was in pain. And you can feel it as you read the letter. But in the Bible, we have a better example in Moses. In Hebrews 11:25 and 26, it says that Moses chose. There's that word again. What do you choose in these difficult times reveals who you are. He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He regarded disgrace for Christ's sake as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt, because he was looking ahead to his reward. You see, it was totally different with Moses. He looked at the being mistreated with God's people, no abandonment, no betrayal, rather than to enjoy the fleeting, the temporary pleasures of this life. He preferred disgrace for Christ of a greater value than the treasures of Egypt. Demas did the opposite. He considered the treasures of this life of greater value than Christ, disgrace for Christ's sake. How did Moses do that? Tells us because he was looking ahead to his reward. Yes, there will be difficulties serving Christ. Yes, there will be hard times and even persecution and very bad things happening, as happened to Paul. Yet, if we keep our eyes on the prize, keep our eyes on the blessed hope that awaits us, we endure. And also our character is developed and we become people of integrity. I don't know about you, but one thing I want to be known for is people say, Willie was a person of integrity. And I know you want that also. And my friends, it's all based on the choices we make at the present in those difficult times. Choose wisely.